It is Saturday, July 1st, 2017, and I'm going to start a new series starting this month in July. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to have a plan of just verifying and not, I wouldn't say live trading because I'm going to be at work throughout most of these trades. I'm going to do a trade recap at every trade that I do throughout the month of July, and I'm going to see if I can experiment and do this every month from here on out and see how it goes. And if you guys like it, let me know. Send me an email, message me. But trade number one is I'm filming this on a Saturday, and so markets are closed. So I'm gonna go over a trade that I executed yesterday during the market hours, and that trade is ALO. So ALO was straight off my watch list from last night. So I found this. I ran my scans the night before creating my watch list, and I found this play. And these are the kind of plays that I love. And I love to short these overnight, aiming for a multi-day sell-off. So what I like to see is a stock that's had a continual uptrend, a little consolidation here. But what I love to see is this right here, a huge gap down. And yeah, you can say that, this stock really hasn't really traded much. This is even if you go back to the 5-year chart here, you can see that this stock has only been trading since May, and so it gapped down and it's resting on this little support area. But my aim is for this to have a multi-day sell-off after this extreme gap down here, overextended gap down, and I would hope to cover in the low fours, the 420s, maybe even the teens, 410, 415. That would be the ideal trade. So that's what I was looking for going into this trade. I waited for after it had the gap down and I shorted it on day 2. And normally what I would do is I would actually wait and break up my short position into 2 parts and have lock in shares, right at the open, just a small position so I know I have some shares in just in case shares get taken up and they're no longer available. This stock is very low volume, so you can see here it's not really, it's somewhat volatile, but there's, I don't know, plenty of stocks out there who are way more extreme, and this isn't really a momentum trade. So on my entry, you saw on the daily chart here how the reason I'm shorting this in the first place is because of this gap down here. I'm shorting it on day 2. And now let's go to entry day and find out my entry point. So what I'd like to do is, starting off the market open, I had a little morning panic here. Opened at like, let's see here, where did it open at? 456, I believe, is where it opened at. Opened at, yeah, 456 where it opened. And then it had a nice little run up here. And it came close to breaking the top here at 474. And it came close to breaking that high of this candle here, which would have been 480. So it came close. And what that was, it just really is dip buyers. If you do some research on this company, a lot of people are talking about how it's just a gold company, a solid gold company with 0 debt. So there's a bunch of people like that on message boards saying that over and over again. And so this was a mixture of, well, mostly I would say dip buyers in this little spike right here. So my initial short, it was wait for it to spike a little bit, and I shorted it on this candle right here. Right when it spiked and broke down 13 EMA. So I got short 1,000 shares at 464. And you can see here it it kind of teared off back down to the 60s, 460, and it started bouncing back, but it can never retake or bounce back higher and retake this 474 resistance level here. So I have a solid wall here at 470 almost, 469. Got the top at 474. Then I have another top at 480, which is the previous day candle. So those are my comfort zones, or my what's the word? I can't think of the word, but it's those are my safe areas there, which helped me out in my short. So I got short here at 464, and then after it consolidated a little bit, it just started teetering off, and it just failed throughout the rest of the day. So 1,000 shares, 464. It closed here at 453. I'm up roughly a little bit over $100, just over a day. And my aim is, again, like I said, to have a multi-day sell-off. So I'll come back on Monday when the market is open, and I'll do another recap, and I'll let you guys know if I sold or am I still holding. And that'll be trade number 1 for this month, July. Thanks, guys, and see you later. Hey, what's up, guys? It is Monday morning, and the market is finally open, and time to do a recap on the trades. I made $300 today, and I explained it in my last video. ALO, my overnight over the weekend position. Look at this beautiful gap down here, and a secondary gap down today, Monday morning, on this half day for July 4th. You can see here I talked about how this is one of my favorite patterns, how there's a gap down and then you expect a multi-day sell-off after this gap down here. So I got short here, I believe it was 1,000 shares at 464, and look what happened this morning. Beautiful, beautiful panic. I actually had a fairly poor exit on this stock here. So I was short here, 1,000 shares at 464. You can see the gap down here, and I actually covered right here, right up here into this bounce at like 430. So 30 cents a share on a 1,000 share position, and I made roughly $300 over the weekend right from my computer at home. So my next stock, as you can see here, it actually went down to 410. So realistically, I could have made an extra $200, so $500, and over the course of a weekend on one trade on a 1,000 share position. Very, very nice. My next trade that I'm short at the moment is DEST, I believe. Once again, another beautiful gap down. This one is fading a little bit slower than the last one. It had a little gap. See, it closed at the 320s, and it had a little morning gap up to 350. Not sure what that was all about, but you can see here, all it is just complete teetering off. So I got short here on the starter position, 750 shares, around the 330 position, I believe. So right now I'm only up roughly another $40 for the day. So on a $5,000 account, I'm up $340. Make that $350. And now it's down to $325. So $350 just for the day. And I fully expect this to keep teetering off a little bit. I would love to see another little spike, either later today, maybe possibly tomorrow, I can execute my other half of my position. I had a starter position at 330, 750 shares. My plan is to add another 750. Somewhere, I would love to get it, close to 350 or get 340s. But we're gonna see what happens. Right now it's at 326. It just dropped down 324. Um, it needs to crack this previous close, which is 323. If it cracks 323, I believe it can go down and retest 314, and then we'll have a good panic, and I'll plan to cover down here in the low threes, and maybe even break three. Maybe even get the bounce off of three, and I'll cover there. We'll see what happens, but this is day 2 or video 2, trading day 1 of the month of July. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Alright guys, it is still July 3rd. I just executed another trade. I just wanted to go over with you guys my thought process about it. DEST is still my short from earlier today. I believe I was short in the 330s, 750 shares, nothing big, and it's down 323 at the moment. I expect this. It did break the. Oh, now it's actually right testing the previous close, but I'm expecting this to go below 314, like I said, and keep fading off a little bit. But one stock that I just got short at the moment is NE. So you can see here by the long-term chart, this is just a terrible long-term chart. Stock has been just fading and fading. You got a little bit of spike here, a little bit of spike here, and just keep teetering off, teetering off. Earnings have been subtly bad, in the negatives. So this is really just like a junky company. But reason I got short today, because look at this run. This has been just like probably just dip buyers. It's probably people in chat rooms saying, oh, this could be a turnaround, and message boards, and they could have even sent out a promotional email newsletter. But what got me interested to short this, but not only the long-term chart and how terrible it was, but you can see here the first dip below the 13 EMA here was right at the close here. Would be this candle right here is what I'm trying to say. It's right where it convincingly broke 13 EMA. So it made a previous high of 405. It is midday, it's 11:28. And so midday is usually when traders take a lot off, take some time off for lunch break. And it is a midday, it's 11 o'clock on a half day because it is the day before July 4th. So I expect volume to just completely fade off here, which is why I'm in favor of shorting at the moment. So for right when it broke down to 13 EMA on this candle here, the low of that candle is 398. So one pattern that I like to do is on a run up, if it breaks over that candle and retest that higher day and it breaks, it'd be a good buy. That would have been a good buy entry point right here. So at roughly around, see the higher that candle was 4, so probably 401 for 402 break if you're really into scalping. But then it broke the high day and then it failed right back down and then it rebroke down this candle right here. So this candle was my key decision point. So I got short at the close of that candle. I probably should have gotten short a little bit higher, but I actually ended up getting short at 398, 397. One of those two. I can't exactly remember. 725 shares. So this is a very, very small position. My risk was the high day here. 725 shares on 398, which is you're risking less than 10 cents a share. So it's good risk reward here. So I expect volume to keep fading off like it is. and I probably will hold this over the weekend, or over not just the weekend, but over the holiday. And I'll be looking to cover this at entry point the high 390s. I'll be looking to cover this in the 380s to 370s. And you can see here it's completely failing now. 393. So that's my thought process on why I got short the stock. It was a junky long-term company. Long-term chart is horrible. It had a fairly solid run today, and then right when it broke the 13 EMA, it tried to come back, and it did break the high of day, but then the high of day break wasn't convincing, if that makes sense. And then it broke right back down the candle right here, and that will be my entry point. And now it's just completely just fading off. Later on this day, it could short squeeze back up, but we're going to see. It is a half day. Markets close at 1 o'clock, and they are closed tomorrow for July 4th. So I plan on swinging this until July 5th after the markets come back and covering for a little bit of profit. All right, 392. All right, later, guys. All right, guys, it is Wednesday, July 5th, 2017. I executed 3 trades today. So you look here, my profit lead chart. We're going to talk about NE, which I went over in my last video, DEST, and PIXY. All 3 wins for today. Solid day. I just crossed over $1,000 in profits. These 3 trades will be verified. They're not yet. Waiting for tomorrow when I get trade confirmations. Once I get those trade confirmations and those 3 trades, they will be verified. Then I'll be over officially $1,000 in verified profits since June 19th, I believe. Yeah, right around, yeah, June 19th. 10 wins, 4 losses, 71%, $1,000 profit. So working my way up. The second 1,000 should be easier as I have some more money in my accounts. So let's talk about the trades. So my last video, I went over NE. I said I was shorting it right up in here. I was looking at this spike. I used this candle as my decision point. I saw it break the high day and then fail the high day and then re-break this candle right here. And so I got short 725 shares, I believe it was, at 398. And come today, let's see if you can scroll over on the chart. It just completely just failed. And so I had a really poor exit on this stock here. I was short 725 shares at 398, right up in here. And then then it gapped down this morning. And what I should have done, and I didn't, but what I was wanting to get out of the stock and go in other plays and move on. But realistically, what I should have done was just rode this 13 EMA down, all the way down until it convincingly broke right around here. So I got out at I don't remember, $111 profit. Got in at 398 and I got out at 381. So 4% profit there. But I left a bunch of money on the table. And I detailed why I got in my last video, and you can tell it's just a horrible long-term chart. Trade number 2 is DEST. DEST was back in my E-Trade account, and you should know by now my favorite pattern as of right now is this overextended gap down area. So I've been making quite a bit of money on this specific pattern right here recently, and I just love how it just overextended gap down, and my aim is just for a multi-day sell-off. And so I made a video, a previous video, saying that it needs to break this low right here. It needs to crack this low for it to really fade off. And my plan was to cover in the low threes and maybe even below 3. So I got short. Oh, where did I get short at? 750 shares at 331. So I got short right in here, this little area right here, aiming for a break of 314 area and tank down to the low threes. I didn't get that. It tried the day I shorted, it tried to break 314. I think the bottom here was 315, and it found support. And today it actually did break, but it took forever to break. Look at the daily chart. Not much action at all, no volume at all. And so it wasn't really dropping like I wanted to. I just locked in profits, and that's what you got to do. When it's not going your way, just either take profits or take your loss. So I took my tiny profits on that. I didn't make much. I made $72 on that. But small gains add up. Hit singles. You don't need to go for home runs each time. And my final trade, which is I'm proud of, is I straight off my watch list from last night, and that is PIXY. So going over to PIXY, how did I know this was going to drop today? Well, this was an IPO, and there's this, because of IPO on NASDAQ. There's been a lot of promotions about this company. Oh, they're supposed to be the new. I read an article in the chat room. It's supposed to be the next kind of like Uber or something like that. Anyway, it's kind of irrelevant. What I love is shorting the first red day. It has a pattern that has worked consistently, and typically on a momentum stock where it has a lot of hype and it's gapped up for 2 days, it is very tough for a stock to go 3 green days, in a row. And so what I did was I played off of that high day candle here, and I was aiming for a spike and then a failed spike, and it failed. I'm aiming for a spike and then it failing, and then shorting on that failed bounce. So you look at this morning. This morning had when was this? This was actually not this morning. This was this morning. So this is the overall chart here. Here's that run up to 970, and then it tried to break 970 again. It couldn't do it, and then it failed off. And so I saw that yesterday. I thought, okay, this is potential first red day. It's been 2 days, showing on the 3rd day. So I want a morning spike and then a failed morning spike. So I got the morning spike like I wanted. You can see here, here's the market open right here. It spiked from the 870s up to 930, 940, and then it broke this 13 EMA right here. I think this is where I got short. I got short right here at 886. No, end of this bounce. I'm sorry. I tried a short here at 886, but then it bounced up, so I got a little bit higher than I wanted, which is perfect for a short. So I got short at 889, I believe it was, a small 300 shares. I'm still building up my $3,000 Interactive Brokers account, and I shorted right there, and it just kept fading off, fading off, fading off, just like I planned. Now, my plan going into this was for a swing overnight. I thought this would be a first red day. You will likely have two failed two red days in a row, and my plan was to cover tomorrow morning. However, I changed my plan because this just dropped farther than I anticipated for today. I expected this to close in the 840s, and then tomorrow morning I was going to cover in the 8 area, or even below 8. That was my plan. However, it just faded off. You can see here, and what it did was it used $8 whole number support, and it bounced. So it bounced off of 8 right here. It came back to almost 870, and I was short here at 880. So that bounce scared me. This was a really low float, and so I ended up covering right in here at 825. And this stock really scared me because it was such a low float, and the bid and the ask was, you can see here, look at the bid, for 832 to 845. At times there was 20 cents a share spread between the bid and the ask, and that just scared me. All it needed to happen was a big short seller just needed to come in and cover his position, and you would have had an epic short squeeze and a low float play together in one, and I could have lost all my profit. So I recognize the bounce off of 8, and look at here, it bounced off of 8 again, 8 again, 8 again. This could potentially be a good dip buy for a spike. It will probably eventually fail back down later in the week. But this is why I got out. This is why I changed my plan from a swing overnight to a day trade. And I made roughly, or exactly, 189 on this. And this will be verified. You'll see a verified check on here. By the time this video comes out, it will be verified. So 7% win. So 189, 72, and 111. Still small accounts. I'm still building it up. But so proud of this 14 trades later. First $1,000 profit. And I'm going to keep doing this, and hopefully I'll get up to 150,000, 100,000, and way beyond. Alright? See you guys tomorrow. Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Thursday, July 6th, 2017. I gotta be honest, this really wasn't the best trading day. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best. I got 3 trades I want to... I made realized I made $85 between CRVS, one short and one long on the same stock. I'm gonna go through that in a second. And one trade I'm still holding overnight, and I'll get to that in a second. So let's talk about a first trade, CRVS. CVRS. Sorry. Okay, so I ran my scan this morning, and I saw this morning panic. I thought, okay, so one pattern that I like to do is I love for it the morning panic, have a solid morning panic, wait for it to bounce, and I love shorting into this failed bounce right up in here. And then I like to see it retest that low of day and fade off the rest of the day. Usually a bunch of momentum traders are focusing on high percent gainers. A lot of times I haven't had any trouble finding shares to short on these. These are pretty open to short. So I saw this pattern here, and like I said, I did exactly what I said. I love the morning panic. I waited for it to bounce, and I got short right here. at 184 on this failed bounce on this 13 EMA. Now my plan was for this to keep teetering off like it started to do, and then retest 177, and then keep fading off down to the low 70s. And that was my plan, to cover in the low 70s, or swinging it overnight. What generated this bounce was a couple of things. One, if you look at the long-term chart of this stock has had a continual uptrend for the most part. Going all the way back here, back in February, back from, it was below $1, 50 cents a share, and now it's at $2. So we're obviously doing something right, company-wise. Still not the best earnings, but you can't deny the chart. And so I knew going into this that if there's a bounce, there is a possibility that it could do this right here, where there is a panic, and then it comes right back, and then it continues uptrending to the high, making higher highs. So I knew that risk going into this stock, and so I'm going to show you why I exited. So, like I said, I got short here at 184, 700 something shares. Let's see here. I'm looking it up right now. Sorry, yeah, so 700 shares. Nothing big. A very, very, very small position for the stock price. And I was expecting, like I said, I was expecting this to fail right here. Then I got short here at around 10 o'clock, and then it started 30 minutes later. It still was holding exactly where I shorted at, and that was a sign. That was a sign for me that, hey, it has bounced twice off the double bottom here. Excuse me, from the 180s. It is double bottomed, and this has a real possibility of short squeezing and dip buyers coming in because of that long-term chart. And so that is exactly what happened. So I recognized I did a good job. I recognized the pattern, the probability, how it has a long-term history, so there's a good chance of a bounce. I recognized that it wasn't cracking like I wanted it to crack, and so I got short at 184, and I covered at 183. I ended up losing $5 off commissions. Now, because I recognized this possibility of a run-up, I finally initiated another trade on my TD Ameritrade account. And so I got long my TD Ameritrade account right at this double bottom right here at 180, like 180, like 900 shares. And it did exactly what I planned for it. It started spiking, and dip buyers started coming in, short squeeze started happening, and I ended up covering right up here near the top of this little run up here. Reason I covered right there was because I was worried about this kind of resistance up here, and so the resistance was at 94, 93, and so I didn't want to risk it getting stopped out right there, so I got out 1 cent below that at 92, and you can see 1 cent below that resistance area is exactly where it topped out, so that's where I got out, 192. It did come back, and you can see here, retested, but it could not break $2 resistance. So that was 2 trades. I did good in recognizing the pattern, but it's still frustrating. I love short selling way more than I do going long. Now, which makes this not the best day is that I just got really frustrated on a different stock. And that stock is Dang on, forgot the ticker already. Oh yeah, BTE. And I'm still swinging this overnight. I use my E-Trade account to short this. So you all know that I love this overextended gap downs, but this isn't really that overextended. This is just a normal gap down. So I had a gap down. My aim was for lock in shares near the open of a short. Use the top of the candle as a high day covering position, and then aim for a sell off to break that low a day, and then break this the secondary low of 215. So going in Monday morning, or not Monday morning, this morning, been a long day. It gapped up a little bit, so it closed at 224, and it gapped up to like 227, 226, and I believe that's where I got short at my first position, just a starter position, at 226, I believe it was 1,500 shares at 226. And so it didn't do much. It started teetering off it. So I was thinking, okay, it's a slow mover. It'll probably just fade off slowly for the rest of the day. And then out of nowhere, right at 11 o'clock, humongous volume. You can look at this: 50,000 shares, 40,000 shares, 17,000 shares, 92,000 shares. This all happened within a matter of minutes. Like out of nowhere, just random buyers started happening. And there was no news. And so my initial thought was, okay, this has to be a chat room pump. This got to be some guru sending out an alert to his subscribers, and the subscribers coming up and following his buy alert, and then maybe they're going to start selling, and then we'll have a short seller attack, and it'll come back down. And so I thought that was what was happening. Then I started thinking about it. I started thinking this is BTE is actually an energy stock, and it's tied in with commodities, with oil, and so I started looking at the oil. So I started looking at USO. USO is United States Oil Fund. Now, remember BTE, when did it have that huge spike? Right at 11 o'clock. So right at 11 o'clock, just random huge buys started coming in. So let's look at the oil play. 11 o'clock. What is this? Oh, another right at 11 o'clock. Humongous. Started buyers coming in. So I was thinking, they're moving in sympathy. So why are they moving to sympathy? Alright, so let's move over to the Russell 2000. So Russell 2000 is basically just like an average collection stock for small caps. So let's look at what happens at 11 o'clock. Boom. Right at 11 o'clock. So I was thinking, alright, well this isn't cool. So I was watching it. It was making me kind of nervous. It did break what my original cover position was the high day at 236. It went at 237. I wanted to get out at 236. But I was like, no, I don't believe this is just random. I don't believe this is just sustainable. And so I let it drop. And so I kept holding. I didn't believe it would retest this. I think it was a freak thing. I didn't let it retest. Well, if it breaks 237 again, I'm out no matter what. That's it. I'm done with this stock. I'll take my losses. But like I said, I got short near the market open at 226, 1,500 shares. I added it into the spike here at like 233. So I'm currently short 2,000 shares at an average price of 2 um, 228. And so you can see here, it had that huge spike, initial spike, and it came back down, found support, bounced, but it couldn't bounce higher than 237. Then it failed again, and it had a lower bounce. So it had a bounce, weaker bounce, even weaker bounce. And so I saw that, I was thinking, okay, alright, it's starting to fade off. And so into the close, it actually broke the previous day's low of 223 and went down 222. I was thinking, alright, this is awesome. This was at 336. And then what happened? It found a bottom and it just ripped right back to 228. So right now I am not making any money or losing any money other than commissions, because I have 2,000 shares short at 228, and it has closed after hours now at 228 exactly. So we're gonna see what happens tomorrow. This stock, I just want to get out of it, honestly. I don't like this manipulation type stuff, and it's just weird price actions. I just want to get out of it. So I'm probably gonna get out of it first thing tomorrow morning. If it's for a loss, whatever. Hopefully it won't be too big a one. If I make a little bit of money, I'll take it and move on to the next stock. So I'll come back tomorrow and give you a recap on what happened on this stock, or whenever I sell it, and that'll be it. That's it for July 6th. See you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, it is Friday, July 7th, 2017. I'm going to talk about this BTE trade, a continuation from yesterday's video. So I'm out, and I had a horrible exit. I hate this stock. It's really frustrating. It's made me nervous pretty much all night. I only lost $16 on it, you can see here. You know, still break even 228 to 228. You know, whatever. But just really frustrating that it just seems so manipulated, or just, I don't know, commodities moving with the oil prices and stuff like that. So let's do a little recap on it. So I ended up, this is one of my gap down shorts that I like doing. And so I tried shorting here on day 2. I got short 1,500 shares near the open at 226, and then I got short another 500 shares at 235 here on this big spike midday, which came out of nowhere, and you guys saw that in the previous video. So all throughout the afternoon, and I'll do some more research on this company, and people were talking about how it's algorithms trading and high frequency traders, which caused that spike, and you know, whatever. But this morning was maybe frustrated for the day, is that market makers are playing some major games with this bid in the ask here. So this morning before the market opened, it was like 5 minutes before the market opened, it was showing 229, 230 by 234. I was thinking, what in the world? I was short here. My average entry was 228. And so it was showing big orders at 229, big orders at 230, big orders at 234. I mean, small orders at 234 on the ask. I was like, man, this thing looks like it's gonna rip, because yesterday, if you look, it started to fade off towards the end of the day, or was it? Yeah, end of the day, and then it found its bottom here, right towards the close, and it just bounced up to the 230s after hours. And so I was like, well crap. So I ended up getting out pre-market. Now, granted, commissions getting out in pre-market are extremely higher than regular market hours. So I ended up paying $14.95 just to get out of the stock pre-market, just on commissions. So as soon as I got out, someone took me out at 228 and immediately fell at 225. This is at 925, you can see that. 928 was at 225. 930 market open was down to 224. And then it just faded and had a morning panic down there at 213. So I could have made, 2,000 shares, over $200. I'm probably horrible at math. Let's see here. 2,000 shares times 228 average. Oh, wow. I think I'm already losing my mind. 2,000 shares times a 2.28 average. I roughly spent $4,500. 2,000 times a what was it? Let's say 16, 19. Let's say 219, whatever. $4,300. Yeah, a couple $100 profit right there. Oh, and it did go all the way down. That's the 219. I did go all the way down to 213. So man, it just felt so frustrating how you had it in the bag and you just you gave it back and some. It could have been a solid profit to close out the week. Well, when you're emotionally kind of messed up from a trade, best thing to do is just take the day off. It's Friday. I'm gonna take the weekend, just relax. Come back Monday. I've had this whole week off. My job for July holiday has the whole entire week of July 4th off. So that's what I've been doing. I've been at home trading here. Next week is going to be a little bit tougher because I'm going to be at work, and you're not really supposed to have any phones on the shop floor. So I'm going to end up having to go to the bathroom probably from 9:30 to 9:40, try to execute a trade. And so we're going to see how that works out. But other than that, I'm gonna take the rest of this Friday off unless I see another play. I'll take this Friday off. I'm gonna come back Monday morning refreshed and focused. All right, guys. See you Monday. All right, guys. It is finally Monday, July 10th, 2018. 18. Wow. 17. Already a year ahead. All right. Anyway, so let's talk about the two plays I got in today. First play, it's a brand new week. First play, CHKE. CHKE is another one of my beautiful little gap down. It works in a gap down plays. I shorted on day 2 here. It actually had some news. Typically on it's basically which is like a last ditch bailout from the company saying they see this price action. You can see, look at the overall downtrend of this chart. This is a 5-year chart right here. So looking at day 2, when a company, after a big gap down, when a company usually releases news pre-market on day 2, that's usually just a fluff news, just trying to recover price action from the previous day's loss. That's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to get their stock price up. Typically what happens when you see that is you see a nice spike followed by a fade off. Typically. Not always, but this is what I was aiming for, and exactly what happened. Now, I still locked in shares because I wasn't sure how if I were able to get shares later or not. So I ended up blocking them shares right at the pop right here at roughly 400 shares, I believe it was, at 510. And as you can see here, it had a nice little spike from really open at really 510ish, and spiked at 565. I got short another 500 shares at 560 right at the top here. So why 560? How did I know that? Well, look at the previous day. Previous day's resistance right up in here. Look at this little choppiness. This is day high at 6. Try to get another top here at 593, 95. And then it had support down here in the 550 area, and then turn into resistance here at 560. So I already had an order short for another 500 shares with my second ad at 560, and that's exactly where that top was. And so after that top got hit, I was actually in a meeting at work, and I excuse me, saw the notification come off or go off, and I saw this thing, and I couldn't really do nothing. I couldn't really watch it, but after I got done with the meeting, I came out on my phone, and I just saw this thing doing exactly as I planned, and it's really a good feeling when you have a plan and it just executes perfectly. So I had 400 shares at 510. My ad was at 500 shares at 560. So I had a total of 900 shares at an average out of price of 538, which is here. And this thing absolutely just completely tanked and faded off the rest of the day here. Now, this thing is making me nervous after hours. You don't see it right now, but you can see the current after hours price action or price is 465. Anywhere else you look right now, I can go to my E-Trade account. I can go to let's go to check some after hours movers. Right there. It says CHKE. Someone executed 1,160 shares after hours at 5:04. That is ridiculous. If that is true, that is just manipulation or something. I don't. That is ridiculous. That means someone bought 1,000 shares right up in here, but it's not showing. So I don't like this. I don't like how it's showing on some sites and it's showing different on others. Even if you go to my E-Trade account, it says I'm actually down. Well, like I said, 900 shares at an average price of 538. Now it's closing at 465. So that move right there, that 13% or so move, is roughly $600 in my pocket that I have shown on my E-Trade account when the market closed. Now, when the after hours buyer, whoever that was, at 504, I basically just lost $400. So, yeah, I'm kind of nervous about this. If it holds that, it's 7:26. Markets after hours closes at 8 o'clock. If it holds that, I don't. We're gonna see what's gonna happen tomorrow morning. Cause that so frustrating when you had a plan that executed perfectly, and some idiot decides to buy shares up here. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. I don't know if that's real or not. I sure hope it doesn't. Okay, so that was roughly a $600 gain just for today. Seconds on just this stock. On second stock I got executed on. Sorry, this is a horrible video. EKSO. EKSO was on my it's been on my watch list for weeks now. I've seen this kind of a multi, I guess, week uptrend, you can say, and I'm waiting for it to break down this 2 level and fall back down the 160 area. So why do I think it'll do this? Alright, so you see this uptrend here, and then it's starting to consolidate, and I'm hoping it'll fade. This is not the first time this has happened. Look right here. Uptrend, fade. That's not all. Let's see here. Even if you go back a year, uptrend, fade, uptrend, fade, uptrend, fade. Alright, let's go back 5 years. Let's see here. This is where we're at now. Uptrend. Alright, let's start from back here. Make it easier. You see an uptrend, you see a fade. You see an uptrend, you see a fade. You see an uptrend, you see a fade. Uptrend, fade, 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 uptrend. What do you think's gonna happen next? I don't know. I like playing odds, and I think the odds are pretty in my favor in this one. I got short. I tried to get short 1,300 shares at 215, I believe it was today. There was 0 buyers. Buyers are basically non-existent. I only got executed 700 and like 30 something shares out of 1,200. So partial execution on that. Maybe I'm hoping it'll maybe get executed some more up here in the 215 range tomorrow morning. My stop loss, if it does actually start making a little uptrend, I'm gonna cut my losses roughly 425, probably the break of this candle right here. Do I think I'll do that? It's possible, but I think I have a really good chance, of probably like an 80 to 85, even higher chance that this thing could potentially break too and fall down to the. I mean, really, it doesn't really have any support until the 170s and the 150s, and that would be a. It's all about risk reward, and my risk is a high to 225. I'm executed at 215 now. 225 is my risk. My reward is greatly more substantial than that. So risk reward is good for this stock. Long-term history for this chart is favorable, incredibly favorable for this stock, for this pattern right here. And I might hold this tomorrow also. We're just going to do another recap tomorrow and see where we're at. But I got 2 stocks. I see whatever that ticker was. I don't even know. I can't remember the ticker. CHKE. Wow. It's going to be tough trading, working full time and then trading on your mobile phone at work is incredibly hard. And if you can't tell right now, first day back after a week off, and I am absolutely exhausted right now. So that's my excuse for this really poorly worded video. But this is, I really hope that this doesn't, gap up huge and make a run. That would be really depressing. But that's all I have for today, folks, and Hopefully tomorrow I'll be in a better mood and get a better video out. So I'm gonna end it there. See you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, June 11th, June, still messing up. July 11th, 2017. Let me show you something. Biggest win to date. CHKE. I went over it in my previous video. I represented gap down short, $673 profit. This trade will be verified. Probably tomorrow morning when I get the confirmation from E-Trade. They'll probably go ahead. I'll probably go ahead and verify this. But this stock made me nervous overnight. You saw how my last video it said that there was a buyer, 1,000 shares at like 5:04 after hours, and it made me a little bit nervous this morning. So this morning it gapped up to 470. The close was at 460, to something like that. It was 460s or 465. So it gapped up to like 470, and then it had this uptrend here. But this uptrend was very unique, and I say that because I was looking at this, and each candle is you can see that, oh wow, there's a bunch of buyers. Well, you analyze it a little bit deeper. 1,000 or 1,300 shares on this candle, 1,000 shares in this candle, 2,400 shares in this one. These are just light buyers. So this is a signal to me that this is probably just early or late shorts that are just covering into this little spike, and maybe an idiot or two dip buyer. That's what I see here. And in order to confirm that, it will likely top at a previous resistance. So look at $5, and not only is a whole number resistance, but if you scroll back, let's see here. Let's see if I get a better angle on 2-day chart. If you scroll back, here was the top here at $5. Follow that line all the way across. Look right here. Technical analysis 101. And so as soon as it topped out at 5, now if it would have broke 5 and kept going, I may have just covered my short for a less profit than I would like. But because it had this run and it topped out at $5 here, it just absolutely tanked. Now, I didn't have the best exit on this stock. I got short. My average was 538, 900 shares. And so I got short, and I started to cover as soon as it broke down. Where was it? Right here. No, not right there. Right in the 460s I covered. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. So here was the consolidation from yesterday. Here was the morning spike, and then it started fading down. And I covered right in here, right at the support area at 460. Reason I covered there was I was just too scared. I didn't want to hold this overnight again because, overnight plays. I mean, with this stock, you can honestly tell that this was, I don't know, has some weird after hours price action, and I don't want to deal through that again. So I was looking to get maximum profits out of, out of the stock today. And so I was a little bit nervous about it double bottoming here. I thought if it could double bottom, if it can hold this double bottom at 460, then it could easily bounce, to the 470s and beyond. So this is where I got out. I just got out at 460, didn't risk it, locked in my solid gain, and I'm gonna move on. However, this did break 460 and absolutely tanked down here to 420. After hours, bids at 415, they got to ask at 440. I left roughly another, let's see here, $300, $400 on the table. So this easily could have been $1,000 profit overnight. And it's trades like this that are just going to keep adding up and adding up. If I keep doing them, it's going to grow my account more and more and more. So that's CHKE. One more stock that I was in was EKSO. This didn't do much. It didn't drop. It didn't gain. It just consolidated. So my previous video, I said that this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for. It's been uptrending for a couple weeks now. I'm looking for a big downtrend. Same thing is happening here again. It's uptrending, so I'm looking for a downtrend. What's I'm not liking right now is that it's consolidating, and it's not really trying to break this $2 level. I was short. I forget how many shares. I got a partial fill, so 764 shares, I believe, at 215, and I just covered today at 211. Like I said before, it very low volume. It didn't gain at all. It didn't lose at all. It literally just consolidated all day long. So I just wanted to get out of it. This will probably drop within the next week or maybe even next week. I would really love to see this. It may short this a little bit later. If it starts to gain back up and break down again, I would love for this to break and then break $2, and then this would probably be a nice short down in the 150 area. So those are my two trades. Roughly, let's see here. So let's see, 673. So over $700. No, I'm horrible at math. 73. My brain's dead. So 696. 696. No. 673 plus 23 is, yeah, I'm right. 696. So $696 overnight, basically, on these two plays, which is actually more than my current paycheck for 5 days of hard work. Kind of unreal. So that's it for today. I'll come back tomorrow for another video and two, or not even two, just a couple different stocks, and we'll just keep doing this day in and day out. All right, see you guys. All right, it is Wednesday, July 12th, 2017. This is gonna be a short and sweet video. I didn't really do much today. I just got one trade into the books. I'm sure I'm still holding overnight, and that is SHLO. There it goes. Yet another one of those beautiful gap down plays. I love shorting on day 2, and I ended up blocking shares in at 1090. 500 shares at 1090 this morning, right into this beautiful little morning spike. So I got short right up in here on this collapse at 1090, and my plan was actually, that was just a starter position. My hope was this to actually you know, get a little bit higher here, spike to maybe 1120s, 1130s, and I was going to add to my position and then wait for the secondary pullback. That didn't happen. Not a big deal. That's why you break your position up in 2 parts. But it had a nice end of the day panic down here from the 1070s, and it hit and touched 1012 here. So and then it had a little consolidation, bounced back up the 1040s, and then dropped right back down. to the 1020s, and now it closed at 1030. But I'm up roughly $300 on 500 shares, and I'm really starting to, my account's really starting to grow. I'm starting to get bigger winning percentages, bigger overall gains, and it's all from basically everything just from this one pattern that I have going on right now. And as of right now, they are working like a charm. Um, in a bull market, sometimes you would see, or in a strong bull market, you would see day two be a green candle, and when the market changes, uh, that day two, instead of shorting, we'll see how it plays, but it could be potential dip buys when the market changes, and then when it changes again, I'll be back to shorting. So we're just gonna keep. I love this gap down, overextended gap downs. My favorite patterns. So it closed at 10:30. My plan is for this to break 10 tomorrow, and I'll end up covering in the 990s. That's my plan anyway. It may not work out like that. It might get a little spike up here to the 1070s or something, but only thing that has me nervous about this stock is if you look at its history. Let's see here. Let's see if 1 year will show it better. Okay, so overall trend, I'll go back to 5 year here. So the overall trend of the stock has been just a steady downtrend. Although last year something changed and the company did a turnaround. Went from $3 and then it just kept uptrending, 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 and actually hit a high of around $16 or $17. That was 2016 to 2017. So for the past virtually almost 2 years now, it has had a continual uptrend, which signals to me that there is a good chance for dip buyers. So where is the nearest support? Nearest support on this stock, now that it has broken this support here, 1060, right up in here at 970. I believe this will get close to 970 and then it'll probably bounce. That would be my guess. If I were a dip buyer, that's exactly where I would buy. Right in 1070 or 970. Maybe even down here in the 920s. So I'm probably going to end up covering somewhere around there tomorrow if it does break 10. If it starts to bounce, obviously I'll cover a little bit higher than that, but we'll see. And that's it for today's video. Only one stock. I tried to short AVEO today. Oh, well, that was my overnight plan going into today, was to short this in my Interactive Brokers account. This had like it's been short squeezing and squeezing shorts, forever now it seems like. Look, all these green candles. Then I had a first dip down and a first red day, and pre-market, I wanted to short this in the 80s, 280s, 290s. But pre-market, it was just, it was failing, and then after the market opened, it broke the previous low. So that as soon as it broke the previous low, that signaled to me that, okay, if this stock does rebound, it's just gonna be a short squeeze, and that's exactly what happened. And a short squeeze from the 70s all the way up to 3 again, and ended up closing above the open, which signals this green candle again. So it opened at 83 and it closed at 89. So yeah, another green candle. I wouldn't be surprised if this short squeezes again and even breaks new highs and even breaks 319 within the coming days. But we'll see. I wanted to get short, but the setup wasn't there that I liked, and so I left it alone and didn't short it at all. And that's what you gotta do sometimes. So that's it for today's video. I'll come back tomorrow for a new play and hopefully an exit on SHLO, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya. Hey guys, it is Thursday, July 13th, 2017. A very good day today. Another solid play, $513 up for the day on SHLO. Wow. Another 10%, nearly 10% win for me today on my E-Trade account. Another one of my beautiful gap down plays. 20 trades in, 70% winning percentage, $2,294 of verified profits. Moving on up, one trade at a time. This is how you grow your account. So let's talk about it. SHLO, I already talked about it in my last video. How I was already short here in the 1090s. My plan was to cover in the high nines. Reason for covering in the high nines is because it would be bouncing off this support area here, and actually I'll show you in the daily intraday chart in a second. It actually did just that. As soon as it hit this I called it the night before. As soon as it hit this support area here, it had a bounce above 10. So let's take a look at that real fast. So I was short here in the 1090s, right up in here, and it absolutely completely faded and failed all day today. So like I said, as soon as it, let's see if I can zoom in here. Oh, computer, don't do this to me now. There it goes. So I was way out here in my short position, and I rode this thing all the way down. So as soon as it broke 10, it hit right in this 970 area, just exactly where I said the support was going to be. And this is where I covered when I saw the bounce here. So I got short. So I called this right here. Did I know it was gonna continue fading off? No, I didn't. I thought most logical place for short to start covering and for dip buyers to come in on this overextended gap down stock is at its the 790s, 780s, and this is where I covered. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have held until you see a first green day, but I just wanted to lock in profits, and that's my trade for SHLO. Look at it now; it's in the 911s. It actually did break 9 today, which is insane. I left over 500 more dollars on the table, as I was short only 500 shares at 1090. And that's it for today's video, short and sweet. I'm going to come back tomorrow for another video, and we're just going to keep hammering these things out each day. Right now, the best thing that's working in July is overextended gap down plays are killing it right now. Hopefully this pattern still continues. If it changes, I'll find a different pattern. But for right now, this is the #1 pattern in the world, in my opinion, for maximum consistent profits. Alright guys, till tomorrow. See ya. Alright guys, it is Friday, July 14th, 2017. I'm going to go over 2 plays that I'm in right now. One win and one I'm still holding, which I probably will sell or cover in the next probably about 40 minutes or so. But I'm going to talk about it. So first play I want to do is ANY. ANY is a recent reverse stock split. It is reverse stock splits are a pattern which I haven't shown you guys yet in this video, but typically they usually follow a couple patterns. So one pattern would be a reverse stock split that does a split, then it fades off for a couple days, and then you'll see that first green candle on the daily, and then it would rip up. Or if that first reverse stock split day is a green candle, you could see a red candle on day 2, and then on the third day, you can see a run. So typically, what I'm saying is on reverse stock splits, you would typically see a solid run. It is a stock to watch for that week. in a week or two. So they usually spike pretty big. So it did. So it spiked yesterday and it spiked today. So I bought into this. This is one of my only trades this month on my TD Ameritrade account I did. And this morning it had a nice spike from the from the fours to the sixes, and then shorts took over and profit takers took over, and this thing absolutely dropped like a hammer all the way down to the four. So it's $2 spike, $2 drop for the most part, and then it started consolidating. Now, if I were a short seller, which I am, and so I know how they think. If I were short up here, and I've seen this thing consolidating for the past, pretty much all day since the morning spike, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I'm going to start, if I see that it's not dropping, I'm going to start to cover my short. And knowing how short sellers work, personally, I wanted to, if I were short, I would use right around this area here as my opportunity to cover, to save myself if it starts to short squeeze. So I wasn't short this at all, but I was watching this and it started to rip after the consolidation towards the end of the day here. And my entry point, I tried to get it, right around this break of this candle right here at 490 for a possible short squeeze. My plan was for it to retest and even get the 440s, and I would get a solid 40 cent a share profit. But I'm gonna scroll over and I'll show you what happened. So just like I predicted, a little short squeeze, end of day short squeeze started to happen. Stephen Ducks, he is a recent millionaire on Profitly. He was short this stock. I would guess near the top here, 20,000 shares. And so I believe he actually did covering, because I did see a 20 share cover order go off on this candle here. So I'm fairly sure that he got out. But I bought here TD Ameritrade account 400 shares on this candle right here for the 490 break, which it did, and then for the $5 break and for the red to green. And it went, so I bought it 400 shares at 487. It was real tough. As soon as it broke 5, it was just real tough. And so I was focused on level 2 for the most part. No chart action on this. And as soon as there was a humongous sell order in here, this thing started dropping like a rock. And so I got out on this candle here because there was like a 10 or 100,000, I don't know, some outrageous, I want to say 10,000 share sell order. So there's a new short coming in here, or a profit taker. I'm not sure. Anyway, there was a sell order here at like 5.7, 5.08, something like that, and that literally scared the bids, and so it dropped automatically. So I got out at 5.02, and it was a good thing that I got out where I did, because look at it now, it's right back 10 cents below. Well, not 10 cents, but yeah, roughly 10 cents below to where I bought it at. Just like that. So it was a little scalp. I wish it continued more, but it didn't. And I ended up making 400 shares on, let's see here, 400 shares. I'm trying to do math in my head right now. 400 shares at 487, got out 403, something like that. I'm going to look it up right now. 402. And my TD says that I made $58. So after commissions, probably like $40. I mean, it's a profit, but it's a very small one. I just wanted to go over my thought process on that, on ANY. Uh, Another one I'm in is CHKE, I think. Yeah, this was a recent short that I did on my E-Trade account. This was another beautiful gap down that actually started to rebound a little bit here. I was in bottom at low fours here, and it broke the previous candle and had a beautiful 2-day run. So my plan was to short this on the day 3 after that 2-day run, because remember, it is very hard for a stock to get for 3-day continuation, and a lot of times they do fail on day 3. So I try to get short here on day 3. I wanted to get short. It's a very illiquid stock, very not a lot of price action, but that can be a good thing when you're short selling, because this thing can drop. So I wanted to get short. It has a little spike from the 590s to 610 here after the market open. I wanted to get short on the break of this candle here at the close at 585. It couldn't do it. I tried to put my order in at 585. It hit 585 right here, but it was just for a blip, and I could not get filled. And so I was like, okay. So I kept watching the stock. And so it's for the past couple hours here, from like 10 o'clock to about 2 o'clock, it is consolidated. It bounced back and forth between the 570 and 570 and 580, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I said I still have my order placed at 585 in case it did end up having a breakout over this resistance level at 580, and I had an alert set if it broke 570 level. So it broke the 570 level, and I used that 570 level as my new resistance point since it broke that. So resistance, support. Once it breaks support, that support now turns to resistance. And so I try. So there's zero bars in this stuff right here. This thing is dropping, and my order was 500 shares at 570. And once again, it had a blip at 570 and couldn't get taken. Well, actually, I did get taken. I got taken 100 shares as a partial position. I got taken at 100 shares at 570. So now I'm sure I'm stuck in a position of only 100 shares at 570, and I will probably just end up just covering this later for like, I don't know, $20, $10 profit, and just waste a day trade for the most part. And I'll probably do a second video later in about 40 minutes or so, showing when I covered this. But if I had 500 shares, I can easily see on a 570 average this thing dropping and breaking 513, and going down to the fours for a solid couple $100 profit. So that was my game plan going into this play, and it just didn't work out. There's zero buyers. I'm gonna get a partial fill. Well, I got a partial fill, and this thing is just 55. Is zero buyers really. So I'll do another video here, let you guys know what happens in about 30 minutes, and that'll be it for this video. Alright guys, see you later.